We're back.
We're back.
So we're here with our guest again.
Oh, thank you, Dan.
Okay. So we're gonna be running the game Four-Sided Fantasy by Serenity Games, and we're gonna talk a bit about like the development process for it and kind of what came to you while you were creating it.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
So.
Yeah, I mean, should I
pull it up or?
Yeah, we'll pull it up over there.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, cool.
So I'll be kind of running this in the background.
So should I just start talking about what
sure.
happened? Okay,
Sure.
all right. Yeah, so Four-Sided Fantasy is our newest game. We actually just released this game on the Xbox One like 3 weeks ago, but it's been on PS4 and Steam for a couple months at this point. So the game actually originated from a student project called The Fourth Wall, which is kind of, so Logan is our creative director behind the game, and he had the idea of, hey, like what if we start, like when you look at a game like this, right? What if we make it so that you can go off the screen and come back to the other side? I mean, it's a pretty straightforward sell.
Yeah.
And basically the idea is that, I mean, there's a lot of platformers like Mario invented this stuff like 30, 40 years ago. Probably not that far, but so like if you think about it, like no one really thought about like what happens beyond the screen, and so the whole game is kind of designed behind that that gesture is like what lays beyond the screen and how can you come back from the other side.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So once you got the idea, obviously, what steps did you go to start making it to what we've got here?
So the game first launched Kickstarter. It's been a while. So I think 3 years, maybe 4 years at this point. We launched the Kickstarter to raise money. I believe it was $37,000 was what we got on the Kickstarter, and I mean that was enough to kind of essentially have a few folks work on this game part time throughout a span of some years, and then eventually. It was finally finished after a ton of ramen and a ton of finding cheaper places to sleep on and couches to crash on, and then now it's out on PS4 and Xbox One and Steam. Yeah,
Has it been doing well?
Yeah, it's actually been really nice. It's I think some of my favorite moments for the game is that Kotaku named the game their second favorite game of E3 last year, right after Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that was surprising. And additionally, because of the gender themes that we actually have in the game, Anita Sarkeesian from Feminist Frequency was actually playing this game on stream, and she really enjoyed it as well, saying that some of the, I guess the very, how'd you say it, like the minimal message that we're giving in terms of, I guess, gender roles in society is a good touch on something of an indie game.
Oh, cool. It's just funny watching you not succeed here.
okay, good for you. So, is there kind of like a story behind this game, or?
So I mean, there are multiple ways. It's a very minimal game, so it's there are multiple ways to kind of interpret a story. So, well, by the way, this part, there you go. Yeah,
There we go. Yeah.
So, I guess one way you can look at it is that there are two lovers, a man and a woman, and they're kind of trapped beyond the limits of the screen, and they can't really meet each other, and you're kind of constantly trying to bring them to each other, right? And another way to look at it is actually they're both the same person,
right?
And it really depends on with the message of being on camera, being on the screen, and all that. What is it? How do you want to depict yourself? Gender fluidity, and etc.
So who would you say some of your inspirations are in the video game world?
Personally?
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of people in the game world. I think Satoru Iwata, the past president, former president of Nintendo, he was probably one of my largest inspirations. Mostly because he hated being the president, but at the same time he still did it for his honor, for his family, for his company, etc. I think that type of deontological mindset is very strong in a leadership kind of mentality. And on top of that, Iwata was just an amazing programmer. I mean, he single-handedly was able to cram the first Pokemon game into the second Pokemon game. So I don't know if you guys knew this, but you know, in Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, there are 16 badges that you can get.
Yeah.
It was actually because of his programming ingenuity to think about ways to get across the memory issue. So yeah, and then on top of that, he was one of the first person to work on Super Smash Brothers. He was one of the first person to work on Earthbound with Itoi at the time, who eventually made a really strong series off of the Mother series. There's just a lot of these games that I loved growing up that he created. So.
I did see a little Easter egg for Smash Bros. In your, I think, the Luna game, the Luna Lost Asteroid.
Oh yeah. I mean, we do.
I saw the Smash logo was in there.
Yeah, we pay a lot of tribute to Smash Bros. We actually play the game competitively. I played that game way more than I should.
By the way, this game is just really beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
So what kind of technology do you use to build the game?
Yeah. So nowadays, pretty much all of the game developers, I would say, mostly indie. I would say 90% of indie game development comes from Unity, which is a game engine that's really easy to pick up and honestly doesn't even require that much programming knowledge to use.
Okay.
It runs in C#, and which is a C-based programming language. A couple extra libraries than C++ back in the days. And on top of that, I mean, a lot of Photoshop, a lot of just your typical tablet drawing on your computer type of art asset creation. Yeah.
So who in your company works on the art?
So we have an art team. So I mean, I guess the best way to describe it is that a lot of people work on the art.
Right.
Because being such a small game dev company, you have to be very versatile in your skills, like I said earlier. So like, for example, I started off as an artist. Our marketing director started off as an artist.
Right.
So a lot of people can't draw. It's a matter of when should they draw?
Right.
It's actually the hard part, and sometimes it's kind of hard to determine what's the best use of your time. So I guess, I mean, your art team and your programming team. If I tell you our art team is like 6 people, and our programming team is like 5 people, but we have 8 people total on our team. It's because a lot of people can actually do multiple jobs.
Most people wear many hats.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Except for you, you just wear one.
Just one. So what would you say to people trying to get into the game design industry? What words of advice could you give?
Now is probably the easiest time than ever to get into the game industry. I recommend just going out there and learning these tools. I mean, Unity requires no programming for you to make your first game. There are even simpler game engines than this. I mean, Game Maker is another one that's really easy to use. It uses a GML, the Game Maker language, which is basically like it's a C-like kind of thing. And then there's even easier than that. If you're into traditional Japanese type RPGs, you can get a thing called the RPG Maker, which is even easier. So these are all things that I recommend students looking into and just making your own games and building your own portfolio.
So we're just about out of time here, so if there are any closing remarks you'd like to make.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that game developers, especially students, aim to do good essentially for the games that you create. I mean, there's so much more that we could do with the video game medium. So, I really urge for everyone to drive value in the art that they create.
Okay, cool. So
Thank you for being here.
thank you
Yeah.
for being
Absolutely,
here.
thank you for having me.
And
We really-
that was amazing skill that I showed the entire time I was playing.
Anytime
Yeah.
you saw something getting done, that was Bridget doing it. James is kind of
Okay, it was like half the time. Oh, that one. Oh.
Oh, there we go. Well, we're finishing up, so thank you
See
so
ya.
much for joining us, and
Thank you.
we will wave.
you.
Oh, we're still. They told us we're done, and then they tell us we're not done, and I just feel like I'm getting attacked. But now we're almost done, so we'll wave this time.
See you on
Hi.
social media networks.
Social media, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere.
Bye.